Air conditioning in cars has become an essential feature, especially in hot regions or during summer periods. However, this comfort comes at a cost. It affects your vehicle's fuel consumption. Many drivers are unaware that using air conditioning is not neutral when it comes to their fuel consumption. If you've ever noticed that your car seems less fuel efficient when the air conditioning is on, you're not wrong. But why does this happen, and what is the real impact on your finances and the environment? This article will explain in detail why air conditioning leads to increased fuel consumption by analyzing the underlying mechanisms and offering practical tips to limit this effect. The principle behind car air conditioning operates through a complex system that cools the air inside the vehicle. This system primarily relies on a refrigerant fluid that circulates in a closed circuit. The fluid is compressed by a compressor powered by the car's engine, then passes through a condenser to release heat. It then goes through an evaporator, which cools the air before it is sent into the cabin. The compressor, a key component of the air conditioning system, is directly driven by the car's engine via a drive belt. This is where the main cause of fuel consumption lies. When the compressor operates, it demands energy from the engine, which is provided by the fuel in your tank. The engine has to exert extra effort to turn the air conditioning compressor, increasing the load on the engine and leading to higher fuel consumption. In other words, every time you use the air conditioning, you're asking your engine to work harder, thus consuming more fuel. Studies have shown that air conditioning can increase fuel consumption by 5% to 10%, depending on driving conditions and the intensity of the system's use. In situations where air conditioning is used continuously, such as during long trips or in particularly hot areas, this additional consumption can be measured in liters of fuel over a given period. There are several reasons why using air conditioning affects fuel consumption, all of which are linked to the vehicle's mechanical operation. First, the air conditioning compressor demands extra energy from your engine, as it is driven by a belt that is powered by the engine itself. Every time the compressor kicks in, it imposes an additional load on the engine, forcing it to work harder, thus consuming more fuel. In addition to the load on the engine, using the air conditioning increases air resistance, especially at higher speeds. Modern air conditioning systems draw air from the outside and cool it before introducing it into the cabin. However, this process requires the air to be compressed, which also increases air resistance, making your car less aerodynamic. This increases fuel consumption, particularly when driving at high speeds. The refrigerant fluid used in air conditioning systems requires a circulation system. The energy needed to circulate this fluid in the circuit and maintain the ideal temperature comes directly from the car's engine. This process involves continuous operation of the compressor, leading to an overload on the engine and, consequently, higher fuel consumption. The higher the outside temperature, the harder the air conditioning system needs to work to maintain a comfortable interior temperature, increasing the compressor's effort and thus fuel consumption. Conversely, if the outside temperature is lower, the air conditioning can be used less intensively, reducing its impact on fuel consumption. The type of vehicle and the system's technology also influence the impact of air conditioning on fuel consumption. Older cars, for example, often have less efficient air conditioning systems, which can lead to higher fuel consumption. On the other hand, modern vehicles are equipped with more efficient systems, such as energy-saving compressors or load-variable air conditioning systems, which help limit the impact of air conditioning on fuel consumption. Some drivers prefer to open their car windows to enjoy fresh air rather than use the air conditioning. Although this might seem like a more fuel-efficient solution, there are also fuel consumption implications when you open the windows, especially at high speeds. Opening the windows increases air resistance, which can also lead to a slight increase in fuel consumption. However, in conditions where the outside temperature is not too high, natural ventilation can be a more fuel-efficient alternative to air conditioning. Experts recommend using air conditioning moderately and opting for natural ventilation when conditions permit. Now that you know why air conditioning consumes fuel, it is important to take certain steps to minimize this impact while still enjoying the comfort provided by your air conditioning system. First, try to limit air conditioning usage to times when it's really necessary, such as when the temperature is very high outside or when the air becomes too humid. Whenever possible, open the windows to ventilate the cabin. Additionally, when you're at a red light or in a traffic jam, temporarily turning off the air conditioning can help reduce fuel consumption, as the engine doesn't need to operate the compressor during these periods. Make sure your air conditioning system is working properly. Regular maintenance, such as cleaning the filters and checking the refrigerant fluid, can improve the system's efficiency and reduce its impact on fuel consumption. Opt for an automatic air conditioning system that adjusts the temperature and power based on external conditions. These systems can be more efficient and less fuel-consuming than manual systems. Finally, before starting your car, if it has been exposed to the sun, you can leave the windows open for a few minutes or use a sunshade to reduce the internal temperature. This will allow the air conditioning to work more efficiently once it's running. Air conditioning is a true asset for the comfort of the driver and passengers, but it also comes at a cost, primarily in terms of fuel consumption. Understanding how this system works and its impact on your fuel consumption is essential for making informed decisions and avoiding unnecessary fuel expenses. By adopting more responsible practices and properly maintaining your air conditioning, you can limit its effect on your consumption, making your driving more economical and environmentally friendly.